Hello, everyone, and welcome to Break Up with Stress Masterclass. I am so excited to have you here with me today, and I want to congratulate you for being here and doing this wonderful thing for yourself. Stress is such a problem, a nuisance, a headache in our lives, and until we really take a stand against it and take steps towards nourishing ourselves and becoming stronger and more resilient to stress, it's very hard to walk away from it. So I'm really glad that you're here with me today. We're going to cover a lot of stuff and hopefully have some breakthroughs. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Lorraine Miller. I'm a holistic health coach. I'm a gratitude expert. I'm also an award-winning author. I'm a mom. And I'm also currently enrolled in a certification program in emotional intelligence. I like to think of myself as a recovering stressaholic. I went through 8 years of infertility. And when I finally had my son, who is amazing, he's now 10, I had a difficult labor and birth. So I had a lot of stress as a new mom right off the bat. And I ended up with adrenal fatigue. And that led to other health issues. I ended up with arthritis. And the good news is that I've recovered from all of that. I've actually I had two hip surgeries last year. And I, um, I I've healed really nicely from those. But more importantly, I healed my adrenal fatigue. And that is something that took a while, but I was able to do it. And I'm now able to live the life I want to be living. I'm not exhausted all the time. I'm not as prone to stress. I've done so much work in the field of gratitude, and that's been where my professional focus has been for many years. And I've strengthened my mindset and I've learned so many tools that I'm always so excited to share with my clients and with all of you here today. So, first of all, I want to thank you for being here. The goal of this masterclass is to help you get on the path to creating the life you want without stress being in the way. And I want to show you how you can get off that low road, the road of stress, and onto the high road, which is the road of being calm and focused and connected to joy and gratitude. Having a system in place and doing the work to prioritize your well-being is critical to having success in living the life you desire, the life you deserve, and the life that you're meant to be living. We were not meant to be living in a constant state of stress. But if you're a human being on the earth in 2024, chances are that's what's happening, that you're in a vicious cycle of stress and anxiety and overwhelm. And that's what we're here to talk about today and to begin to shift away from that because it's really not necessary. It's not something any of us ever invited into our lives. It's not something we consciously said yes to. But today we're going to consciously say no to stress and we're going to break up. We're going to find the courage and the strength to finally say enough is enough and to break up and to move on to a different road, a different path, and create a different cycle for ourselves, a better cycle. So just take a moment to really appreciate yourself for being here, whether you're here live or you're watching the replay. Just if you're here live, just put a thank you in the chat to appreciate yourself for being here and making time for yourself. And as a thank you to yourself, I want you to fully commit to being present and to giving this masterclass your full attention. So you've made time to be here. Something was calling you to come. And now it's time to really show up for yourself by being all in, because the more you put into this masterclass, the more you will get out of it. You're all going to receive the replay. If you want, you can take notes, but you will have the replay to refer to. And I want you to really give yourself time to process the material and to start to make those shifts. So awesome. Thank you for putting it in the chat. Big thank you to all of you. All right, so let's just take a few deep breaths to get started. So get comfortable in your chair, wherever you are. Feel your body touching the chair. Feel your feet on the floor. And let's just take in a nice deep inhale, 2, 3, 4. And as you exhale, try to let any tension in your body release. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 2, 3, 4. It may be helpful to close your eyes, and it also may be helpful to see any tension in your body as like a color. If you see a color somewhere, that helps bring your attention to it. You just want to send love to that area. You want to breathe into that area. And as you exhale, just imagine that color, that tension releasing from your body. We're going to take 3 more deep breaths, breathing in, 2, 3, 4, and breathing out, 2, 3, 4. Again, breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4. And last one, and let it really fill your belly. Just breathe air into your belly, 2, 3, 4, and breathe out, 2, 3, 4. Now, your breath is so important in keeping you healthy and strong against stress. If you could just mute yourself, I hear some background noise. Let me see if I can mute everybody. Hold on. Okay. So coming back to the breath is really the first thing to be aware of when we're talking about stress. Because when we're under stress, one of the things that happens in our autonomic nervous system is our breath gets very shallow and we're breathing from the chest. But when you breathe deeply from the belly and you do those belly breaths, it calms the nervous system and it brings fresh oxygen to the body. And it's such a simple, easy thing, but it's really powerful and it's really important. So that's one thing to notice as you go about your day. Just check in with your breathing. Are you breathing shallow up here in your chest, or are you making sure your body's getting oxygen? And sometimes just taking those deep breaths can be very energizing and very empowering. All right. So if everyone could just put their name in the chat, and actually you don't have to put your name in the chat because it shows up unless your name is not your real name. I just want to hear where everyone's from. I know we have people from all over, so let's just take a moment to say hello to each other. And I want to let you know that you're in the right place if you believe you would benefit from having practical tools to help you reduce stress. If you want support in alleviating overwhelm and anxiety, if you would like help in doing a better job at taking care of your physical, mental, and emotional health, If you have trouble saying no to things, I know this is something that I've struggled with in the past, but I've gotten much better with it. And you tend to spread yourself too thin, you're in the right place, and you are in the right place if you are ready to break up with stress. So let's just see. We have Cheryl here from Georgia, Kristen from Kingston. I'm guessing that's Kingston, New York. And great. All right. Welcome, everybody. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I want you to put in the chat how happy you are with your ability to manage stress on a regular basis. So 10, if you're super happy with how you handle stress, everything is great. You don't even need to be here. 0, if you feel like stress is taking over your life and you have no control over it. So where are you on that spectrum? Within 0 to 10, where are you? Hi, Ishieta from India. Welcome. So glad to have you here. So yeah, just put in the chat. Okay, great. 5, lower end on a 3. Oh, and Kristen, you're from Canada, Kingston, Canada. How wonderful. All right. So we have such an international group here today. This is wonderful. All right. So we've got a 3, 2 3s and a 5. All right. So next, let's talk about why we want to address the impact stress is having in our lives. Okay, so this is called your why. What is your reason? What are the benefits you want to achieve once stress is no longer a major obstacle in your life? So you can write this down in your journal. You can also share it in the chat. And if you do share it in the chat, then we can support you with that, which is great. So I always encourage that. But your why could be many things. It could be one major thing. Some examples are you want a healthier body, you want to be more physically fit and have a stronger immune system. Maybe you want a clearer mind, leading to better decision making. You want to have more focus. You want to feel more calm and grounded. You want an overall sense of happiness. Maybe that's been missing lately. You want a greater connection to your loved ones, your friends and coworkers. You want to feel more resilient. Maybe you want to feel more in control and just have a better chance of achieving your life goals, whatever those may be. And you can put your goals down too if you want. But what's your why? Whenever we want to set out on a journey and that requires making a change, we want to always stay connected to our why, because sometimes these changes are easy and sometimes we can hit roadblocks. And when we have a clear understanding of our why, not just that we want to lose weight, but why do we want to lose weight? Or not just that we want to get healthy in general terms, but why? What would being healthy or healthier give you? Would it give you more freedom to travel? Would it give you more time with your children or grandchildren? Would it give more quality time? Like, it's so important to really connect to what's behind your desire. And that's really, really impactful when you can do that and you write it down and you keep it present in your mindset, on your radar. Okay, Kristen, I want to feel like I'm thriving and get out of just surviving. Beautiful. Ishieta, lack focus, goal orientation, or general forward-looking attitude and health, pain and fat loss. Beautiful. I love that. Okay. The more clear you are on your why, the easier it is to achieve your goals. Okay, so Stress affects us mentally, physically, and emotionally. We can have financial stress, health stress, family stress, relationship stress, job stress, and the list goes on. When we are under stress, we're more likely to have negative thought patterns of worry and fear. And it's more challenging to maintain a positive mindset. We're more likely to engage in stress eating, which can cause unhealthy weight gain, mood swings, highs and lows, fatigue, low mood, inflammation, and illness from making poor food choices. We can also undereat when we're stressed. And stress can also make us feel isolated because we're more likely to cancel social plans or not really have the energy or inspiration to go out and be cheerful and be with people. And stress over time can cause brain fog, and it can hinder your ability to make decisions. And the American Psychological Association did a 2023 Stress in America study and found that women continue to report higher stress levels than men, and that having a supportive community helps women more than anything else in how they handle stress. So it could be that women are just more likely to put that down on the questionnaire than men are, but it's interesting that women do tend to be more prone to stress. And it could be because of the intricate hormonal and endocrine system that we women have that makes us more susceptible when stress happens in the body. All right. And another thing I just want to mention is that burnout is now classified as a chronic disease. So it's a real thing. And if you're feeling burnout, you are not alone. Millions of people all over the world are experiencing all kinds of symptoms from burnout. And it's from this chronic stress that it's happening in our lives. So please put in the chat, I'm just curious, because this study was done, if you feel like you want more support around stress, if you feel like you don't have the support you need around stress, just share that in the chat for me, because I'm just curious to know. All right. And while you're doing that, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to take a look at which areas of your life you feel are most affected by stress right now. So I'm sharing this slide, and it's the circle of life. And here we have you in the middle. I have a picture of me, but just imagine that's a picture of you. And this is your life. And we have these different key areas. Now, you may have other areas that come to mind, but just look at this as a guide of different areas. So we have relationships, physical health, financial well-being, purpose and passion. That can be career, but it could be something else. It could be motherhood, it could be a hobby, something that you enjoy doing, but it's really, the thing that gets you going. Like, what is the thing that you love doing the most in your life, that you're passionate about, that gives you a sense of purpose? And that can be impacted by stress if you're feeling like you're not able to live in your purpose. You're not able to do the thing you want to do, or maybe you don't know what it is that you want to be doing, but you feel unfulfilled. That can cause stress. All of these areas can experience stress. Relationships can cause stress if you're having issues with somebody that you work with, or somebody in your family, or your spouse. Obviously, if you have physical health issues, that causes stress. Financial stress, we mentioned. And then home life. If your home is dragging you down, if you have a lot of clutter and you feel unorganized, that could be stressful. If you don't like your house, if you don't like your neighborhood, if you don't like the people you live with, right? Our home life is our home base. It's really like the place we go to feel safe and to feel nourished. So if that is not feeling good for you, that could be causing stress. And then faith and spirituality. This may or may not be part of your life, but if it's something that, if you feel disconnected from life, that could be causing you stress. If you feel disconnected from a spiritual community that you once had, that could be causing stress, but that could also be nourishing you in a positive way. I like to think of spirituality as not necessarily religious. Religion does fall into that if you are religious, but it can also just be like your connection to your higher self and connection to nature and connection to the world around you. So that's a broader view of that category. So think about these areas in your life and just think about which area is currently being impacted the most by stress, and then maybe put down like the second most area that's impacted by stress. Think about that. Um, okay. And then you can share that in the chat as well, and we can talk about that. So just take a few minutes to think about that. And then I just want to address a question in the chat that stress is not a conversation we have. So I don't know what you mean by support. That is a great question. And yeah, stress isn't necessarily a conversation we have, although I find that people like to, at least here in my community, I'm in New York, by the way, people like to talk about how much stress they have, but not necessarily how to fix it or how to get support. So what I mean by support is family, friends, community. If you're dealing with a lot of stress, being able to share what you're going through and talk to them about it can be a form of support. Working with a coach or a therapist can be a form of support. And just being here in this class is a form of support. So really just, doing things that say, okay, I'm going through this stress. I feel stressed, but I know I'm not alone and I know there's people who can help me. That's what I mean by support. So let me know if that answers your question. So Cheryl, each area has been affected by stress stemming from financial issues. Feels like a domino effect right now. Okay. I hear you. I hear you loud and clear that can feel very overwhelming and it can be a domino effect. So it's important, first of all, that you have support and that you put yourself first right now, that you really do things to take care of yourself. And we're going to go through what my recommendations are as we go further through the masterclass. Okay. And Ishieta, I feel that all areas are affected. I agree with Cheryl. Okay. So that can feel very overwhelming. And I think the best thing to do is to really just pick one, whichever one resonates with you the most, because it's very hard to address everything all at once and can feel very defeating, like not even possible. So I would just say, which area feels like the one area that resonates most, that even if they're all equally affected by stress, which area do you want to work on first? Maybe it's relationships, maybe it's finances, maybe it's your health, and then we'll go from there. Okay, I feel due to lack of opportunity in certain areas is the reason that it is missing. Okay, what is missing? Not feeling stressed, I guess. Okay, all right. So I'm going to stop sharing that screen and we're going to continue, but what do you mean? Okay, wait. What do you mean lack of opportunity in certain areas is the reason that it is missing? So which areas, if you could be more clear, the more clear you are, the easier it is to work on getting support around that area and working towards alleviating the stress in that area. Kristen, my physical health is so poor right now, I'm not able to work, and that's greatly affecting my feeling of purpose. Okay. So just acknowledging that and recognizing that you're going through some physical health issues and it is affecting your sense of purpose is a really big step, and just being aware of that and looking at maybe other ways you can feel like you are contributing. What are some of the things you still can do while you're going through physical health challenges? I'm sorry. What are things that you can feel give you purpose? Maybe taking care of yourself is really what your purpose is right now. Working on healing, that can be an incredible journey. That can be an incredible opportunity to really dig in deep to, who you are and what's important to you and what your body needs to heal. So I hope that is helpful. Let me know. All right. Now I want to just ask you, if stress were no longer a problem, if you were no longer in a relationship with stress, what would this do for you? What would it feel like? What would this mean for you? If you could break up with stress, if you could just say, enough is enough, I've had it, I'm ready to move on, how would that feel? Give me some words, give me some descriptions, like, let's see what's possible for you. What do you want? How do you want to feel once the stress is alleviated and and you're on that high road, that path to living a stress-free life? Being in a relationship with stress is tricky because stress can be very sneaky. It can make you feel alive and productive and connected to others. And because of this, we can become addicted to stress. And for a while, that feels good. And that may have been something that you've experienced in your lifetime where you were just so busy, but you felt good about it because you were accomplishing things, you were doing things, and you were going from one thing to the next. It's kind of like eating sugar feels really good, but what happens if you have too much of it? Then it starts to affect you negatively, right? But you can also get hooked on it. And then when you're not feeling good, then you're craving that sugar. You want more, right? Stress can be very addicting like that. And then they can become habits that are difficult to break. And the effects of stress can be really detrimental to the body. So I'm going to share with you some of the things that stress can cause, and it's a long list. But this was in an article on stress.org. called Are You a Stress Addict? So the author, Dr. Heidi Hanna, compares the effects of stress to taking drugs, actually, and she states that both can cause similar effects on the brain. They can cause increased heart rate and blood pressure, increase in blood sugar, insulin resistance, breakdown of muscle tissue, decreased digestive functioning, ulcers, blood clotting, migraines, skin problems, premature aging, loss of brain cells. I sound like one of those drug commercials, right? Like all these symptoms, and they go on and on and on. I'm not even going to read them all, but anxiety, panic attacks, depression, like, yeah, we know all this, right? Stress is bad. We know it. And then also a study by the University of London, which was completed way back in the early 1990s. It was a 20-year study. They found that unmanaged reactions to stress were a more dangerous risk factor than for cancer and heart disease than either cigarette smoking or high cholesterol foods. So stress is a problem, right? And we don't always think of it as like something that we have to deal with right now because we don't like get a diagnosis of stress like, oh, well, you have stress. Actually, I think in Sweden, the doctors sometimes prescribe vacations for their patients to go somewhere sunny and warm on vacation if they're suffering from depression. A doctor can actually write a prescription for that. But for stress alone, like we don't really say like, oh, I'm suffering from stress. I mean, we might know that and we might know we need a mental health day or something like that, but it's just something we're expected to keep dealing with day after day, week after week. All right. So
It's like a what do you call it, scavenger hunt?
is
What
someone talking or is that background noise?
yeah. Now I'm listening to a webinar.
I'm sorry. I just muted you, Cheryl. I'm not sure. It was very fuzzy if you were asking a question or if there was background noise. Can you let me know in the chat? I see you wrote peaceful and free to enjoy life again. Beautiful, healthy body and mind, but I am more concerned with the chemical effects of stress. Okay, Ishita, we're going to talk about that. All right. So talking about that, with the idea of stress. So let's just go back to why we have a stress response in the body. So our bodies are designed to deal with stress in a wonderful way. It's actually a really great thing. And our bodies are designed to notice if there is a danger, some kind of threat. And we sometimes need to react very quickly. And it's like a split-second response where we go into fight or flight. So this goes back to the days when we lived in the wild and a wild animal was chasing us and wanted to eat us up for dinner, right? We had to react quickly. We had to either we had a choice. We could either run away and flee, that's the flight part, or we could stay and fight and try to defend ourselves. And so what our body is designed to do is to release these stress hormones, cortisol, adrenaline, and we get this rush into our bloodstream and glucose into our bloodstream that can give our muscles like super strength so that we can fight off this wild animal or we can run away. And, in modern times, like it has been possible that we've been able to like run away from a car that's about to hit us or save a toddler that ran into the street. Like we need that adrenaline rush. And that's a good thing. That's friendly stress. But our body is also designed to return to a balanced state. So, but what's happening is we are in a constant state of chronic stress where we're engaging in that fight or flight, and then we're not returning to a balanced state. We're staying stuck. So when we're in fight or flight and it's chronic, our blood vessels start constricting. We get less oxygen to the brain and all our other organs. Our heart rhythms get irregular, blood pressure goes up, and we get this build up of stress hormones, which leads to inflammation in the body. Now, once we have inflammation in the body, that's what leads to disease. That's what leads to physical symptoms. And it can cause a whole host of problems, like I mentioned earlier. It can cause brain fog. It can cause adrenal fatigue. It can cause so many problems. And on top of that, when we're in that state of fight or flight on a regular basis, we're not digesting our food properly. We're not healing and balancing. We're not detoxing, and we're not reproducing. It's affecting our fertility as well, because all our energy is going to deal with the imminent danger or the perceived imminent danger, right? So this is a really important part of understanding the stress cycle, is that we can get into that fight or flight just from thinking about something. When we have negative thoughts of fear and frustration, and we're not able to cope with uncertainty, we can get caught in this negative thought loop that is perpetuated. And the thought alone can trigger that fight or flight response. So most of the stress in our life is perceived, like we're perceiving that something is bad, like this is bad, this is stressful, I'm not going to heal from this, I'm not going to get a new job, I'm not going to be able to pay my bills. We're predicting into the future, and that is causing stress, and that is keeping us in that stress cycle. So I'm going to share my screen again, and I want to show you what that stress cycle looks like, so that it's very clear. So in this stress cycle, we have at the center is you in the stress cycle. And up above, we have something that comes in that causes us stress. Maybe it's bad news. Maybe it's losing your job. Maybe it's, going through a divorce is causing you stress, whatever it may be. It comes into your realm. And then the body produces those stress hormones. And if we're very stressed, we're less likely to do things to process those stress hormones. So they start to build up in the body. They cause us to get into an anxious state. And then that leads to physical symptoms starting to manifest, which then leads to a state of overwhelm. There's just too much stress going on. And that causes us to have an inability to cope. But yet the body gets conditioned to being in that cycle. And so we start looking for more stress. And this is crazy, right? Like you think, no, I don't want more stress. But subconsciously, that's the pattern that your body and your nervous system is used to. So you're actually looking for more stress. You're looking for more things to worry about and more things to focus on. So what do we do about this? What do we do about this stress cycle? Okay. So first, I just want to know on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you identify with this? How much is this resonating with you? Are you somebody that you feel you are caught in this cycle? And does this make sense to you? Just let me know in the chat. I want to make sure you're all still with me. Now, there's no shame here. There's no judgment. Just be honest with yourself. This is why you're here. If this is something you identify with, then on a scale of 1 to 10, let me know where you are. Okay, Kristen, you say absolutely a 10. Ishiata, what number would you put that you're at if you're in the anxious state and overwhelmed? Cheryl, you're a 7. Okay, great. This is just good information to know for yourself. Okay, great. You're an 8. I mean, it's not great, but it's great that you're putting a number to it. All right, so we're going to talk about solutions. But I forgot to mention that I have a free gift for all of you. And I want to take a little break. I want to give you an opportunity to get up and stretch and move around, just like a quick 2-minute break. But I also wanted to tell you that I have a free gift for you. First of all, everyone that's attended live will get a free copy of my gratitude journal, From Gratitude to Bliss. So be sure to send me your mailing address. You could either put it privately to me in the chat, or you can email it to me. So there's that. And then whether you're listening live or you're listening to the replay, I am offering each one of you a free 30-minute one-on-one breakthrough session with me so that we can go a little deeper. This is my gift to you. It's completely free, but it's an opportunity to let you go a little bit deeper with this work and to be able to really see where you can make changes, where you can shift away from stress and how it's affecting you. And I'm going to put a link to my calendar in the chat so you can sign up right now during the break for that free 30-minute call. So I'm putting that in the chat now. And just take a moment to give yourself that opportunity with me to go one-on-one. It's really, truly a gift, and I really encourage you to take advantage of it. And then just do a couple of little stretches. I'm going to do that right now. I'm just going to stretch and move around a little. One thing I learned from having arthritis in my hips is that I cannot sit for hours and hours without moving. It's great to get up and move around and do a little stretching. So I encourage you to do that too. And then we'll get started. I'm just going to grab some water. Okay. All right. So let's talk about, I'm going to stop sharing this screen. And while you're stretching and moving around, I'm going to now share my screen and show you the high road, the calm cycle. And this is the good news. Okay. All right. So coming back to focus. This is the calm cycle. Now, the first thing I want you to understand when you want to break up with stress, this is a really important takeaway from this program, is that if you feel that stress is something that happens out there, that is actually a limiting belief. What happens out there is the stressor. It's the thing that is happening outside of you that is causing stress to happen inside your body. So to say that stress is out there and there's nothing I can do about it, and everyone has stress, and stress is part of life, and all of that, those are limiting beliefs. Stress is what happens inside your body, and you actually have a lot more control over it than you think. It does take effort. It does take work and focus, and it requires support many times. But there are lots of people who are able to manage the stress in their life and wake up feeling grateful every single day. And I know some of these people, and they've inspired me in my life, and now I am one of them too. And I've taken the high road, and I want you guys to take the high road. I want you to get on this path. I'm on this journey with you. I want to invite you to join me in the calm and focus cycle. And again, this is you in the center. The stressor comes in, and your body produces stress hormones. You have to produce these stress hormones because you really have to tackle the stress that's happening outside of you, right? You have to deal with it. So your body is used to producing these hormones. And the way that we take control, the way we empower ourselves is by healthy processing of stress. And we're going to talk about how we can process stress in a healthy way. But things like meditation, practicing gratitude, eating nourishing foods, really all the things that you do to take care of yourself can help you process stress in a healthy way. And it's really a choice to put yourself first. And that is the hardest thing to do. But once you do that, once you make that choice and that commitment to yourself, and you understand that by doing that, you are also serving all the people that you're responsible for. If you're a caregiver, if you're a parent, if you're a spouse, especially women, we tend to always take care of everyone else. We put that first and we neglect ourselves. But when we put ourselves first, those people in our life that we love so much, they benefit in such a way that it's actually a gift for them, for you to put yourself first. So I want you to really hear that. And I want you to really process that. And I want to know in the chat if this resonates with you. Are you somebody who tends to put other people first and neglect yourself and your needs? Because that is the first place to start when we want to improve our health, when we want to feel more calm. All those things that you said are your why. Those things are not going to happen if you're not committed to you. So let me know if this is resonating with you. Let me know if this is speaking to you, because this is where the shift happens. This is the meat of this masterclass. This is the key that's going to get you on this high road. So please let me know. And then once we can process those stress hormones, the body returns to a relaxed state. I always like talking about nature shows when you see an animal running from something, or escaping from from a predator, and it runs. And then what does it do? It goes back to like grazing in the fields. Like the threat is over and it's calm, it's relaxed. It's not obsessing over the stress every day over and over and over like humans tend to do. So the body is designed to process stress and return to that relaxed state. So are you guys still with me? Okay, yes. Kristen, um, okay, you sent me a direct message, so I'm not going to read it unless that was a mistake and you want me to read it. But thank you for answering. Oh, that was a mistake. Okay, great. All right. It's always good to share because sharing just helps all of us, right? We're a nice group here and we get help when we hear what other people are struggling with. It helps us too. So Kristen says, absolutely. I push through everything to take care of my family. My needs aren't prioritized, and I harbor resentment when I could just schedule things for me like I do for them. Beautiful. So that is definitely what I'm talking about here, right? Putting other people first, and then what happens? We get resentful. And it happens all the time. It happens all the time. We all do this. I do this. I've done this. And we have to fill our cup first. It's not selfish. It's self-love. It's self less, I think it's the right word. It's something we do for ourselves. Okay. And it's very important, but everyone benefits. So I can't say that enough. So I'd like to hear from everyone on this. If this is resonating with you, please let me know in the chat. All right. So the body is designed to go back to the relaxed state. And when we're relaxed, the body goes into the parasympathetic nervous system is engaged. And that's when we can heal. We cannot heal when we're under stressed and we're in that anxious state. And healing happens on a daily basis, right? Healing happens when we're sleeping and when we're resting. It's very important to find rest in every day, right? We need to restore the body and the mind. And then this leads to joy and gratitude. So I'm going to put these slides up side by side so that you can compare them now. And I just want you to see them side by side so that you can see. Hold on, hold on. Let me try that again. Okay, so just take a look at those and just, get a sense for the stress cycle. That could be where you are right now, but where you want to be, where we all want to be, is in this calm and focused cycle. And that's taking the high road. Okay. Thank you for bearing with me, everyone. Anybody else want to comment if this is resonating with you? Feel free to do that in the chat. All right. So, all right. So now the solution, right? That's what I want to talk about. So I mentioned it's a conscious choice to take the high road and stay in that high vibration. So this calm cycle, that is high vibration. The stress cycle is low vibration. And when you are constantly focused on stress and you're rehashing it in your mind every night and you're just stuck in that loop, you're just sort of staying in that in that vibration of stress. But when you break out of it, you're actually moving to a higher level, a higher vibration, which is more healing, more nourishing, and so much happier and so much more fun. So that's where we want everyone to get to. Okay. So now I'm going to share with you the gratitude to bliss method for overcoming stress. So for those of you that know me and my work, I have been studying the power of gratitude for over a decade now. It's something that I discovered when I was going through um, my infertility. And after 5 years of dealing with uncertainty and disappointment, I was really at rock bottom. And I went to see a health coach because I just needed to feel better. I was stuck in that stress cycle. And I was anxious and overwhelmed. And I was miserable, but I was also just so discouraged. I just didn't understand what was happening. And I started practicing gratitude every day, and it was a game changer for me. My whole life changed. And I'm going to share in the chat. I have a podcast. It's called the Gratitude to Bliss Show. And in the first episode, I walk you through a very simple gratitude practice I call vitamin G. And this is the first place that I like to start. I'm going to put the link to the podcast. So for homework, I want you to listen to that first podcast because I tell you all about the benefits of gratitude, and we can't go into all of that right now, but you can watch that podcast and I walk you through how to practice vitamin G and how to get the most out of it. And this is where I start. This is how we interrupt that stress cycle. We start with the mind. This is the gratitude to bliss method for overcoming stress, the mind, body, spirit approach. And we start with vitamin G. We start with the mind because your mind is where you have, in some ways, the most control. Like you can control your thoughts. The body always follows the mind. So much of the stress that we experience is because that's how we perceive it. Gratitude is the number one tool for boosting positivity. And when you're under stress, it can be very hard to think positive. When I was going through infertility, my mom always used to say to me, don't stress, just stay positive. And I'd be like, yeah, I want to stay positive. But I didn't know how. I didn't know how not to stress. It was just so engulfing. Like I was engulfed in all this stress. I didn't know how to break out of it. But starting my gratitude practice was a game changer. It really helped me shift into a positive place so I could then make other positive changes in my life. When you practice gratitude, the reason I call it vitamin G is because it's not that hard to do, but it's extremely nourishing. It's just like taking a vitamin. And it's something you do every day. And when you're not doing it, you actually notice it and you are reminded to take your vitamin G. So there really is a pill for stress, and it's called vitamin G. When you practice gratitude every day, it carves new neural pathways in your brain. And that's really what you want to get to. You want to get out of this stress cycle and into the calm, joyful, grateful cycle. And by doing this every day, even after a couple of weeks, you will start to carve new neural pathways in your brain that will lift your spirit and help you achieve what you want in your life. So that's the first thing that we do. When we want to break out of stress, this is what I do with my clients. And this is what we'll talk about in the free breakthrough session. So if you haven't signed up yet, I will put the link in the chat again before we end. But I encourage you all to take advantage of that free 30-minute breakthrough session with me so we can go through some of the ways that you can break up with stress on a deeper, even deeper level. But today we're going through some of these tips for you. So I want to talk a little bit about just real quick, a few other benefits of practicing gratitude. So when you practice gratitude, that releases neurotransmitters in the brain, dopamine and serotonin, and those are um, feel good chemicals. And serotonin helps you regulate sleep and mood and appetite. And dopamine encourages repeat behavior. So that stress cycle actually releases dopamine, which is why if you're stuck in that, you're actually looking for more stress. But if you can interrupt it with a gratitude practice, then you are able to then you start seeing more things to be grateful for. You want to feel grateful, so you open your journal, you write in your journal more. So if you're gonna have a dopamine hit, it might as well be gratitude and not stress. I talked a lot about stress hormones. They've done studies, and people who practice gratitude, their cortisol levels, the stress hormone cortisol, goes down by 23% after a few weeks of practicing gratitude. That's pretty amazing. Also, immunity increases. Your health gets better when you practice gratitude. They've measured the immune response in the body, and that is stronger. Your heart rhythms get smoother. And the best benefit of all is people report becoming 20 to 25% happier after practicing gratitude for a few weeks. So I can't tell you enough how important this is. My coaching work is based on the power of gratitude as the foundation for creating everything you want in your life. So this is where we start. And if you leave here with one thing that you're inspired to do, I hope it is to start a gratitude practice, or to, if you've already have a gratitude practice, maybe to feel more inspired around it or enhance your practice. Definitely check out that podcast, because I talk about how to practice the what I call the special sauce, and that's really focusing on the feeling. And if you go to my website, you can download a guided meditation. I'm going to put all these links in the email that I send out with the replay, but I have a guided meditation on my website called Nourishing Gratitude, and that can help you practice this special sauce, which is meant to put you in the feeling of gratitude so that you can put yourself in that high vibration and experience all those physiological changes that happen when you practice gratitude. So I'm going to put the podcast link again in the chat, because I see there's a question about it. Because it's on YouTube. All right. Okay, and then we look at the body. And there's other things with the mind before I go on to the body, like noticing your self-talk. Is it positive or is it negative? Is it encouraging or is it critical? It's very important that you notice your thoughts throughout the day and you reframe them. You can use affirmations to reframe them, but you want to catch yourself when you get caught up in things like, oh, I'm so stupid, or oh, I'm exhausted. Like when I had adrenal fatigue, I would go around saying I was exhausted, like probably 50 or 60 times a day, until I said, you know what? I'm working to change this. I am working to heal my body, and this self-talk is not helping. So I started catching myself. And then I started replacing it with I'm, you know, I'm building energy in my body. I'm building energy in my body. Like it took time, but like I said, it's once you're on that high road and you're on the path, doesn't matter how long it takes. It just matters that you're making progress, progress over perfection, and eventually it happens. All right. So for the body, we need to look at foods, how foods are affecting you, which foods are giving you lasting energy and sustaining you throughout the day, which foods are um, leading to cravings, right? So like if you have a lot of sugar cravings, that can create a lot of mood swings in the body as your blood sugar goes up and down. So eliminating sugar is a good place to start. And I'm talking about refined sugar. You can replace it with sugar from fruit, like natural fruit. And the more you nourish yourself with whole, nutritious foods, the more you are protecting your body against stress and the more you're building up strength. But the thing I recommend is to keep a food journal and notice if certain foods make you feel anxious or low mood or give you headaches, um, or if certain foods energize you. There are lots of mood boosting foods. Protein can be very important in the diet. You can feel exhausted and drained if you're not getting enough protein. Healthy fats are really good for the brain. So salmon and avocado and good quality olive oil, all of those things nourish the brain. Walnuts nourish the brain. Walnuts actually look like a little brain, and they have healthy fat and they have minerals and your brain needs that. So make sure you're nourishing yourself because it's very hard to deal with stress if you don't have the fuel to handle it. Um, if this is resonating with you, um, oh, I see. I wasn't putting, okay. Give me 1 second. I somehow got off the, okay. I somehow started putting stuff in the chat just for Kristen by accident. So I'm going to be putting the podcast link in the chat now. Okay, it's a YouTube link. Sorry about that. Thank you, Kristen, for letting me know. Okay. All right. So please put in the chat if this is resonating with you about the mind and the body. So the thoughts, you want to replace negative self-talk with positive affirmations, positive thoughts. You want to reframe. You want to also practice gratitude. And then for your body, you want to make sure you're getting in touch with how foods are affecting you and making sure that you're getting the nutrients you need. And if this is an area where you feel you need help in, please put that in the chat, whether it's the mind or the body or both. Sleep and exercise also affect our mood and our energy level. So those are areas to look at. Are you getting enough sleep? Do you notice if you feel more stressed if you didn't get a good night's sleep, or if not getting a good night's sleep is because you feel stressed? There's a vicious cycle that could be going on there. So there are things that you can do to help yourself relax at night and get a good night's sleep. And exercise, are you moving your body? Are you getting, when you move your body, you're not just like losing weight or staying in shape, but you're keeping the blood flowing so that your brain gets oxygen and nutrients that it needs to function. And that affects your mood too. Water, are you drinking enough water? That is something most people are not doing, and that is a simple, easy fix. So I don't want to overwhelm you with all these things to be doing, but that's exactly why I want to do the breakthrough session with you, because I want to help you look at all these things, pinpoint where you need to spend your time and focus, and come up with a plan. Another thing I like to use are flower essences. They can really help with some mood issues. And on my website, I have this beautiful spray by Soul Blossoms. It's for anxiety. I don't know if you could see it. There's like a reflection. I'll put a link there for that, but I have on my website that you can get that along with the Gratitude to Bliss journal in a package. And you can use that flower essence to help you feel calm while you're practicing gratitude. So I'll put the link in for that. And if you're not familiar with flower essences, they work to help the body um, just get back into balance. They, I don't even know exactly how they work, but they come from nature, they come from the earth, and there's so many nutrients in these flower essences that can help fill in the gaps of things that may be missing in your body. So there's Bach flower remedies. This is one I also really like. It's called vervain, and um it's just very relaxing. There's one called impatience. So it comes from the flower impatience. So that's a Bach flower remedy. But these soul blossoms are blends that some good friends of mine have made. Their company is called Soul Blossoms. And that's the one that I sell on my website. Okay. So, and now we're going to talk about spirit. So I just want to look at one thing. Okay, so spirit is also very important. We talked about how if you're under stress, you may not be going out and socializing and connecting with people. You may feel unfulfilled in your purpose and passion. So think about the things that bring you joy. What are the number one pick-me-ups that put you in a good mood? And actually put on your calendar at least once a week, sometime, even if it's only a half hour, to do something that really inspires you, something you love doing. It could be going on a nice walk, it could be chatting with a friend, but like, think of this as medicine. Think of all these things as medicine to help you with stress. If you're suffering from anxiety and overwhelm and you're stuck in that stress cycle, you want to put yourself on this healing journey. What are the things that you want to focus on your healing journey? And try to commit to putting at least a half hour a week doing something that feels good. And just don't worry about the laundry. Don't worry about cooking dinner. Like, that's your time. If you could find an hour, if you can find 3 hours, this is so nourishing for you because it takes you out of that stress cycle. When you're focused and engaged in something, whether it's conversation, whether it's just physical activity, or it's something creative, like maybe there's a hobby you like, maybe you want to take a yoga class, maybe you want to take an art class, like you need to put your mind in something else because doing that recharges your brain and it gets you out of that stress cycle. So, where to start with all of this? I'm going to stop sharing. Um, we're going to end soon, but the way to achieve anything in life, anytime we want to make changes to our health and our happiness, any kind of life coaching or health coaching that you might do, small steps lead to lasting change. So you don't want to take it all on at once. You want to see, today is like a really good overview of all the different areas that you can work on to help you and nourish you and get you on that high road. But you want to just start small and you want to build from there. And it's a beautiful thing once you're on that path, because once you're on that path and you make that commitment, then you know it's going to happen, right? So on a scale of 1 to 10, how ready do you feel to address the impact stress is having in your life? Let me know in the chat. How ready are you to end your relationship with stress? How ready are you to break up with stress? Please tell me in the chat. 10 is if you feel it's important to your health and happiness to address the impact stress is having in your life. And 0, if it's not that important to you, you're not really ready to do it right now. Okay. Hi, Veronica. I see you have a 5. Kristen is a 9. Excellent. Ishieta, a 10. How important it is. 5, what I understand of the tools. Okay. All right. Do you have any specific questions about the tools that I can answer for you right now? Cheryl is a 6. Excellent. All right. Now I want to direct everyone back to a question I asked earlier, but I want to do a quick little visualization before we end. So if you're able to, if you're not driving or walking, if you're sitting someplace comfortable, just close your eyes for a minute. And I want to do a guided visualization. So close your eyes, take some deep breaths, kind of ground down into your body. Allow your breath to move into your belly. Imagine yourself someplace where you feel at peace. It could be outside in nature. It could be in a cozy spot in your home. It could be anywhere. But notice your surroundings. What do you see? What do you smell? What do you hear? And just imagine yourself being peaceful and calm in this beautiful place. Everything is taken care of for you. There's nothing you have to do in this moment. There's nothing you have to worry about. Everything you're hoping for is turning out just as you want it to. You feel very supported in this moment. And just imagine that you're very, very strong. You're so much stronger than any of the stress that's happening outside of you. And you have a really deep sense of knowing and trust that everything is going to work out for your highest good, because it always, always does. And see yourself really thriving, not just surviving, but thriving. See yourself doing things you want to be doing in the way you want to be doing them. See yourself interacting with the people you love in a calm, enjoyable way that's fun. Know that there are opportunities coming your way to answer the the prayers or the desires that you have for yourself and your family. And just see yourself like really embracing what life would be like if everything happened with ease and joy. And now take a few deep breaths, breathing into your belly and letting it go. And just reminding yourself that you are safe, you are loved, you are supported, and you are on your way to having the life you deserve. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Now, let me know in the chat how that was for you. And I just want to hear from you one more time. What would it do for you if 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 that vision could be yours every day? What would it feel like? What would it do for you? What would it mean for you? How would it change your life? Just put it in the chat so we can all support you in having that vision. All right, I see a couple of questions from Ishieta, but I'll come back to them in a second. So Cheryl, you see yourself having more joy and peace and engage in life fully. Yes, I think that's what you put down before. So that is very clear that that's what you want, more joy and peace and really engage in your life. And I think, you deserve that. You deserve to have that. And that is possible for you. And the more that you put your focus there, the more it will be possible for you. So who else can I hear from? What would it do for you to finally break up with stress? What would that mean for you? How would your life change? Anybody else want to share what they're thinking? Maybe you're just all engaged in thought, or maybe you're not sure. You can put in the chat if you're not sure. You can always listen to this recording again as things come to mind after the masterclass. Give yourself a day or two to process. Initiate a sense of okayness. I love that. That's exactly how I felt when I first started practicing gratitude. I just wanted to feel okay. Just wanted to feel okay. And it is possible for you. Just keep putting your focus there. All right, now I want to address your other questions. You wrote that you find it to be a little ridiculous to write gratitude about things like the sun is out, I woke up today, that type of thing. I hear you, and that is something I hear a lot. So you have to try to connect to your heart. Remember that your gratitude practice is private. You don't have to share it with anyone, but you have to try to find things that you're grateful for every day. And they could be as simple as a clean glass of water. Not everyone always has that in the world. Um, you're living a life that is safe, hopefully. You're breathing air, your breath. That's something you could be grateful for. You could be grateful for a warm blanket. It doesn't matter what you're grateful for. It just matters that you're putting your focus on something positive in your life. And if you stick with it, over time, it will get easier. You're going to receive a copy of this, okay, from Gratitude to Bliss, A Journey in Health and Happiness. I created this journal to help you do exactly this, to get started and not have it feel silly. I give you tips along the way. I make it so simple and easy. And I just want to show you. I put a tip, if you can see that. I don't know how clearly, but I put a tip every week and then just a short space to write. And it's a little bit every day is what makes you carve those new neural pathways and feel um, that sense of joy and happiness. And I want to hear from you how it goes. And then in the scenario of lack of relationships, community, what alternative do you suggest to tackle stress? This is something that I would love to talk to you about in my free 30-minute one-on-one session so that you can share with me a little bit more about what your challenges are, and we can look at what opportunities exist. So, because it's really personal and it's different for everyone, but it could be an online group, an online community. It could be something in your neighborhood. It could be something in your family, but we can talk about all those things. All right, well, we're going to end. It's 12:29, so we went for quite a while today, but I am really, really grateful that you're here. I'm grateful for all of you who are watching the replay, who have really taken this step to do something about the stress in your life instead of just accepting it and living with it and dealing with it, right? We have so much power, and it's really just a matter of having that courage and feeling supported and able to really make that step to start getting on that high road. So, anything else anyone wants to share? Any more questions? You'll all receive my free journal for being here, watching live. So make sure you send me the mailing address where I can ship it to. I will send you all the replay. I will put all the links of everything I talked about. I definitely encourage you to check out my podcast and to get started practicing vitamin G if you aren't already practicing gratitude. And I just love you all so, so much. Thank you so much for being here. And anyone else have anything? Oh, you're welcome, Cheryl. I'm really glad. Oh, one more thing. Just tell me, what was like the main takeaway from today? If you can put that in the chat. If there was one nugget that really resonated with you, that you're really excited about, just put that in the chat before we end. I appreciate you all so much for being here, for writing in the chat, and for giving all of these ideas your full attention and thought today. Cheryl, we are not alone in this journey, and there is hope. Oh my goodness, that warms my heart. Yes. Yes, you are not alone. Ishita, it's possible to heal stress even if you have lived with it for many years. Yes. 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 I am a testament to that. I'm the recovering stressaholic, and I am doing great. Gratitude may slowly but surely and maybe the easiest way. Yes, yes. Oh my goodness. Yes, I love that so much. Beautiful. Anyone else have a takeaway from today you want to share? Remember, I'm always available through email if you have questions. Also, you can join my Facebook group. I'll put a link in the email as well. It's called the Gratitude to Bliss Community. That is a great place to ask questions, especially if you have questions about this workshop. So if no one has anything else, I'm going to end, and thank you so much. And I wish you all a wonderful weekend. And don't forget to sign up for the free breakthrough. It's really my gift to you. I really want you to have this opportunity to really figure out what your next step is here. Okay? All right. Take care, everyone.